I want to express my opposition to an amendment that would exclude employees of the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, from collective bargaining rights of federal employees. On June 23, 2010, more than 6 months ago, I spoke on the floor of the Senate about the need for collective bargaining for more than 60,000 TSA employees who work at BWI, Marshall International Airport, and airports around the nation. At that time, some members of Congress opposed collective bargaining for TSA employees because of their concern that we need to be able to adapt quickly and effectively to specific aviation threats. The underlying premise of that argument was that we must choose between protecting the nation from threats to aviation or collective bargaining. But as I said in my June 23rd speech on the floor, that choice was a false choice because national security and what I call smart collective bargaining are not mutually exclusive. Under smart collective bargaining, where a true emergency exists, TSA would be fully capable of deploying assets without there being any negative impact from collective bargaining. At his confirmation hearing, Administrator Pistole stated that we have to be able to surge resources at any time, not only nationwide, but worldwide. That smart collective bargaining agreement that I called for would enable us to do exactly that. Moreover, I believe then and I believe now that a smart collective bargaining agreement would enhance national security because it would enable TSA to recruit and retain better employees. Our nation's history with labor unions clearly teaches us that collective bargaining boosts morale. It allows employees to have a voice in their workplace and allows them to increase stability and professionalism. On the other hand, poor workforce management can lead directly to high attrition rates, job dissatisfaction, and increased costs, would lead to gaps in aviation security. On issues of national security, we need to come together and reject the either-or. We need to be smart on national security, and this collective bargaining decision by Administrator Pistole is a smart decision. The fact of the matter is that the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Patrol officers, some of whom work at the same airports as TSA employees, as well as employees at DHS, Federal Protective Service, and Capitol Police, all operate under collective bargaining agreements. As our late colleague Senator Kennedy noted in August of 2009, when he co-sponsored a collective bargaining rights bill for public sector officers, tomorrow morning thousands of state and local public safety officers, police officers, and firefighters will wake up and go to work to protect us. They will put their lives on the line responding to emergencies, policing our neighborhoods, and protecting us in Maryland and communities all across the nation. These dedicated public servants will patrol our streets and run into burning buildings to keep us safe. And no one believes for a moment that we are less safe because they have secured collective bargaining rights. And if opponents of the Administrator Pistole's decision want to invoke 9/11 to support their views, they will soon discover the legacy of 9/11 shows very clearly that national security will not be compromised by smart collective bargaining. Before 9/11, New York Port Authority police worked 8-hour days, 4 days on, 2 days off. By the end of the day of 9/11, however, vacations and personal times were canceled and workers were switched to 12-hour tours 7 days a week. Indeed, schedules did not return to normal for 3 years. The union did not file a grievance, and everyone recognized it was a real crisis. Mr. President, Administrator Pistole's decision will enhance our ability to recruit and retain the best TSA employees to protect us. It will also lead to conditions that will improve our ability to recruit and retain the best employees, like the countless number of American heroes who work every day to protect us and keep us safe under collective bargaining agreements. In concluding, I just also want to acknowledge in the reauthorization of the FAA bill, I want to acknowledge the thousands of hardworking government workers, pilots, flight attendants, and other members of our nation's flight crew. Without their service, air travel would not be possible. I'm pleased that several of the labor unions that represent so many hardworking Americans in the aviation industry support this bill. I also note the important worker safety provisions this legislation provides workers in the aviation industry. Congress has passed 17 short-term extensions of this authorization. It's time for a permanent fix. It's time to pass this bill. It will provide stability, safety, and jobs for both the airline industry and its passengers. It promotes jobs, consumer and travel protection, homegrown technology innovation, and reductions in fuel consumption and greenhouse gas emissions. This could not come at a more opportune time.